Hello everyone, Edain here, and welcome back to the Edain mod, where today we'll be ranking the heroes for Isengard, the first of the evil factions in the four roster of heroes that we can choose from. And I've chosen probably the faction that has the most... the heroes with the most potential, but it's kind of been left behind. And I've been saying that for a long time. I know a lot of people, some people I imagine get annoyed with how much I do tend to disrespect Isengard in different ways. But to be fair, it has had some improvements. Visually, it now looks stunning. Unit-wise, it's pretty fleshed out. 2 full heroic units along with the pseudo heroics of the scouts, which we won't talk about too much because we'll be getting into them later. But overall, the biggest strength in Isengard definitely comes now from the wildmen, and Wulfgar is definitely a key figure in Isengard in general. But obviously, their late game is still superior to most other factions. I would say even Imladris would suffer against a fully roided out army of Urukai, level 5, fully upgraded, and with the this beautiful steelworks, just insane bonuses just for having those upgrades. So let's begin with the worst scout hero in the game, Fernie. And he is by far, for me, still, to this day, unchanged E tier. Absolutely needs a rework. More than I think than Brand. Brand will, I believe, will get a rework one day. But Fernie needs one desperately. Because half of his abilities are focused upon targeting an enemy building at close range to give yourself vision or weaken enemies. Why? Why generate resources for 90 seconds? When you're looking right at a building and you're just going to destroy it anyway with, for example, Wildmen of Dunland, who give you resources for attacking buildings. Disguise, for anyone that doesn't know, custom created heroes had disguise, or have disguise, the evil men / Hashari. A garbage ability, always will be, because any player will obviously not be able to recognize when something that they don't own is moving around rather randomly. Trebuchets can just be set to auto fight in one location, so they can just kill someone in disguise. And secondly, you use any of his abilities and it will instantly take you out of disguise, or the enemy will just, or somehow the AI just figures it out, takes you out of your disguise and kills him. So yeah, this ability needs to be reworked from the ground up. I do have a very lengthy list of things that Fernie can be given to be improved, not just as a scout hero, but as a hero in general. But I'll be making a separate video for him and all the other heroes I'm ranking below average. Which, oh, completely forgot. If any hero does on this list hit A tier, that means that for me they're a perfect hero. B is above average, C is average, D is below average, and E is need a rework, which is why, for me, Fernie is so bad. His only 2 good abilities are after you've spent so much money. A total of 600, by the way. 100 gives you this ability, which is useless. 200 gives you the snitch. And then 300 gives you cut purse on top of, you know, leveling him up. Which is one good thing. But then you can also steal resources with every hit. So, yay, he can deal damage, but he's a scout hero who... and how long does this last for? For a short time, so it doesn't even say. And my guess is for between 10 and 30 seconds. But yeah. I've always will build Fernie. Purely because the snitch ability does have a use in letting you know when an enemy hero is coming for you. And the money he generates can make you more than what he is worth. But to be fair, I may build him just to spite him. And I'm going to, just like I did with Brand, put him in the corner and let the Urukai eat him. I wish that was possible. But next up, we've got an actual good hero, Wulfgar, who for me is B tier. He comes from your settlements, the Dunlanding outposts, for 750 resources. He can also come from Gaverstows, I believe, the new outpost for Isengard, where you can buff your Wildmen of Dunland on top of just having Wulfgar. Does amazingly, can turn your basic Wildmen of Dunland, the club and hatchet variant, basically, your sword and board variant, to be wielding spears, so they can deal with early cavalry. Which is good, because you don't have cavalry until you hit level 2 with your military buildings, which is a long way away unless you want to spend 1,000 very early in the game, which, let's be real, I'd rather spend that on resource generators to make me more money. Then we have the Revenge of Rohan. For 30 seconds, he does more damage and does fire damage against units and Ents. But the real kickers are these two abilities here. The Wild Plunderers, to make it so any Wildman near Wulfgar for 30 seconds will steal resources from defeated enemies. Really good. On top of their already stealing resources with every hit against buildings, he will just slowly this is a scavenger for 30 seconds. It's really good. Get Wulfgar, get Wildmen, and your money problems will quickly disappear compared to going straight for Urukai and breaking the bank for units that are barely worth their cost without getting them upgrades. But then we have the Oath of Dunland. For 30 seconds, they're recruited much faster, and it does mean much faster. Now, before, you did have a different level 10 ability, which would make it so all Wildmen of Dunland on the map would instantly gain heavy armor. Which, to be fair, if they still had that, I would potentially make him A tier with just that alone. But it has been changed now. He can give himself heavy armor on top of all your units that get heavy armor purchased through the Smelters of Angranost. Which, if you didn't guess, because it's a purchase of heavy armor, the hardened armors from the Steelworkers does actually give you bonus armor. Bonus health. You're just making your Wildman on par with your basic Urukai with just Wulfgar alone. He is a really good hero. I always recommend him. He's actually cheaper than Bill Fernie. Considering Bill Fernie takes 700 resources. Okay, so Wulfgar is 50 resources more expensive on top of the cost of the Wildman Hut. But believe me, it is so worth it. It is so worth every single resource, because this man, with an army of Wildmen, which he can quickly replenish, does just get everything. He does everything perfectly for what he needs to do. Ever since the Wildmen of Dunland became like a full focus for Isengard, it's so worth it. Next up on the list, we have Grima Wormtongue, who I put behind Saruman for unsuspecting reasons. Anyway. For me, I was going to originally rank him at D tier, but then I remembered his two last abilities are actually really good. On top of his other ability here being decent. But he is, for me, a C tier hero, because Escape is... Yes, it's thematic. Yes, it makes sense. But it doesn't really do anything. Congratulations, you're now hidden for 10 seconds. If you've not escaped by the time cavalry show up, or your enemy is still on your ass by just spreading out everywhere, then congratulations, he's still dead. His real power comes in his ability to just weaken his enemies. And by the way, he does more base damage than any other hero on this list. Before you look at Lurtz's melee damage and Sharku, who is also another really good hero. But yeah, Grima does more base damage than a lot of these heroes, which is saddening, because he's not meant to be the hero killer. Although he does have backstab to stab someone in the back, which only really works if you use escape. But you might think, oh, he's kind of a hero killer that way. Sure. I ranked him as a hero killer back in the Ranking Hero Killers video just to spite Lurtz. Because, yes, this ability does do a lot of damage if you use these abilities in tandem, but then you're using your escape mechanic to do an assassin ability, when another hero kind of has a better ability of crippling an enemy, but we'll get into Lurtz later. These three abilities are what give Grima some real meat on his bones. weakening enemies by reducing their damage and armor, similar to the Mouth of Sauron back in Vanilla Battle Vanilla 2. Then the influence of the spear, heroes dealing no damage in a pretty wide area is pretty useful, you know, if the enemy does actually build heroes. And then you've got just disabling an entire base for 30 seconds is also pretty scary. It's a shame it's all put on to this one hero who, yeah, unfortunately for me, doesn't... He's missing something. The Edain Unchained team really helped Grima take him... they really just took Grima one step above by giving him the traitors of Rohan, which if the base Edain team did implement into Grima, would easily make him B tier or A tier for me, because his other abilities are good. It's just the problem of that he himself is very weak, even though he has some decent health compared to some of these other heroes. That's just because some of these other heroes are kind of bad. I'm mainly looking at Bill Fernie and Lurtz here. Wulfgar's still great. Ugluk gets away with it because he's got a lot of extra health, and Sharku does his own things. But yeah, Grima definitely for me has a few screws loose. He has the potential. He has hero killing tools, but does very little damage and gets killed by any other hero. Any other hero. Lurtz could demolish him if that backstab didn't exist to like cut his health in half to begin with. But yeah, I feel like Grima could have one extra tool in his tool shed. Get rid of backstab, have escape be a full like escape mechanic, and yeah, I feel like Grima definitely is close to being a good hero. He's decent. He's average for me, but not as good as some of the other heroes I've already talked about and will be talking about now. Sharku is for me B tier. I used to hate this man. I used to hate him so much. Because his attack animation was bugged, he could just slay enemy heroes instantly. Well, slay any hero instantly. His attack animation still kind of is a little bit bugged, but not to the state it was before. But for me, he is, yeah, a really good support hero for Warg Riders, which you will need as Isengard against most factions, because siege exists, and unfortunately you do need the speed to deal with stuff like that, and archers too. And the Blood Hunt, being able to give your Warg Riders bonus experience, so they can do even more. Can be even more impactful. On top of having their Howl ability recharge twice as fast, and in fact no. The Howl cannot be used for the duration because it uses it immediately. All Warg Riders just gain twice the Howl's effect around him. And the Howl effect is actually really bloody good. Just bonus speed and bonus damage. Then you have a heal effect on himself by instantly killing any basic units. Regenerate his health and deals more damage for 30 seconds. Really good ability. Sense of Blood. Sharku Warg Riders are in battle with the selected host battalion, they gain bonus armor. So if you've got a certain enemy you want to deal with, that is one way to just guarantee they get destroyed with little comeuppance. And like I said, look at Sharku's damage compared to Grima's damage again. They don't really cost much. They don't have much of a cost difference either. So it is just the fact that Sharku is just the better hero by a mile. Then we have Last Words. Enemy hero and heroes in a great radius have their attacks, actions, and spells interrupted, have less armor, and can only be used by Shark whose health is less. So he's basically being a dick by just telling you all, you're gonna die. Or they took a little tumble off the cliff. But just by making every enemy hero around you. This is a real hero debilitating ability. Grima's ability just says, okay, screw you, you can't do anything. But to be fair, most heroes don't do a lot with dealing damage. Taking away their abilities and their armor is insane work. And then finally we have the Untamable, which is a bit weird. It's why he's not A tier. Because you're just summoning a Warg that you don't control. You can't control. But will just kill anything in sight. Which, unfortunately, yes, if you use it wrongly, it will just kill your entire army if you're not careful. Thankfully, Sharku can deal with it quite well. In fact, let's actually test that right now. Move all the other heroes away. You know, let's have a look at Sharku actually doing really good work. I mean, he's getting beaten up as well because this is a level 10 ability. But yeah, he's handling it. And the fact that it took that much to take him out, that is technically a hero killing tool if some things are not careful. Yeah, let's move everyone else back into place because I did not expect that to go the way it did. But yeah, any other hero on here right now would die to that. Sharku survived because his health is good and his damage is good. Just keep him away from pikemen, and he's good. Oh look, last words and that is now active. Anyway, let's go back to the other heroes now. We have Ugluk, my favourite Urukai, and who's also B tier. Because he can heal Urukai. You have a healing tool in your kit with the Urukai. It is so good in the later stages of the game to just heal your Urukai who've been fighting tirelessly. It's a shame most Urukai die before, or just don't. They will just die without having gotten the most value out of dark medicine. Also, giving them bonus speed, resistant to knockback. So cavalry, they're the one biggest weakness of all Urukai except for pikemen. Countered. Then he's got his bloodthirst, so his mediocre damage can then give him health back. Which, yeah, this is kind of why he's not like level, not level 10. He's not like A tier. Is because this ability, on paper, sounds really good. I thought it was really good when I was ranking him as a tank. Unfortunately, the thing that makes him good at being a tank is his health pool. Having the extra damage, sure, 400 damage a hit. That is more than Lurtz. That is more than Sharku. That's more than Grima. And getting that healing back. But if you're actually in the fight, taking that much damage, you are going to take more damage than what you're healing. You're just delaying the inevitable. Giving it extra Urukai, extra armor, though, is always good. And then summoning some hunters to hunt an enemy hero. Yeah, for every horde of Uruk hunters and every one of his summoned hunters on the field, more her deals bonus damage. And these guys restore health on every hit. They're basically the Urukai scouts as single entities, which may sound good. They have 2,000 health each, which is the same amount as Bill Fernie. But unfortunately, they're all single entities, so they will just get shot to death. I mean, yeah, the dark medicine works on them, so if you actually focus on them well enough, they can survive. They do get the hard march boost as well as Lurtz. But yeah, there's a few things in Ugluk's kit. He's meant to be a tank, but he's definitely more of a unit support. He doesn't have any real tankiness in his kit except for Bloodthirst, but that isn't really doing it. Doing split jobs doesn't work very well, unfortunately. Some heroes get away with it, like Glorfindel, because his tankiness actually has AoE effects embedded in it. But yeah, unlike characters like Glorfindel, Ugluk doesn't quite hit A tier for me, just because he's trying to do support. He does better as a support hero than a tank. And I do sometimes just accidentally let him die because I stop paying attention to him. Yep, then we come to the other Uruk, Lurtz, who for me is D tier. He has decent tools in his kit. It's just the fact he doesn't do any damage. 400 damage on a hero killer at base, considering he has been reduced in cost quite a bit in the past. So I give him some brownie points on that. But for me, he doesn't hit C tier. He just doesn't. Because one, his health is atrocious. He has the same health as Grima Wormtongue, who is at least 600 resources cheaper than him. Maybe 500. I don't remember his actual cost. I don't pay attention to the costs of the Isengard heroes at all. But I do know Ugluk got his price constantly ramped up. But yeah, the fact you have to choose between being able to cripple an enemy hero or being able to slay an enemy hero in combat is annoying. The cripple could be given like a speed bonus to like Orc Scouts. If I really want to like say like, oh, let's put some unit support tools in, because by the way, he does have unit support tools as well. His last two abilities are unit support emphasized. Give him more for the Orokai Scouts. Make the cripple so that Orokai Scouts and him then get bonus speed when that ability is used, or every ally around the crippled hero does bonus damage, or I don't know, something to make going from cripple to carnage worth it. Because the carnage, bring him to melee with 600 damage, is definitely better than you might expect. But it's giving the same vibe as Foreign Stonehelm, except Foreign Stonehelm can do 1000 damage per hit, and his attack animation is faster than Lurtz's. Only by a small bit, but it is faster. Then he gives all Orokai around him bonus damage, which is good. The only problem is, as I said before, if you want to be able to take out a hero, you need to, 1, use Cripple, which requires you to be on a bow, which means that bonus is not being given to all your Orokai, only the crossbows, and crossbows don't do a lot of damage. The one annoying thing about the Orokai crossbows is that their one thing is that they're being able to do damage to heavily armored units. They don't do damage to buildings. So keeping Lurtz on his bow on a siege attack is kind of sad, because you will be on your sword more than you will be on your bow. Then we have this ability, which I don't know where to go with this ability, honestly. Marks an enemy hero, monster, or heroic unit as his target and swears to hunt it down. If I knew the range of this ability, I would be swung towards giving Lurtz the C tier. But himself, hunters, and Morher's hunters on top of Ugluk and Morher will move faster while far away from the target, in the target vicinity to deal more damage instead. So you're using this on an enemy hero, and using it far away, just so your units will move faster. But notice how it just says Ugluk, Lurtz, Morher, his summons, and the hunters. Not Orokai. Not all your units that you're going to be getting later on in the game. Just a select few units to then have them run really, 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 really fast. Okay, that's cool. But then only they deal more damage. Can you see the problem with that? With the fact that Orokai hunters are limited to 4. They're always going to be in melee, because they've been changed that they no longer can use their bows. They just shoot a hunting arrow and that's it. Which also gives them bonus speed, by the way. This is a perfect use of giving bonus speed. This is not. Mainly because of the fact that it's not really very well represented. You don't know how far away you have to be to then be dealing more damage, or just be moving faster, or have the enemy hero move slower. Because how are you going to be able to see the enemy hero? You have 2 scouting tools. Vision of the Palantir, to view an enemy base, for example. Cool. I see the enemy base. I place the hunt on it. Is the hunt infinite range? I don't know. It doesn't say. It just says mark an enemy hero, monster, or heroic units as his targets. So it's annoying because I don't use Lurtz a lot. If I use Lurtz more, I might be able to just say, okay, this has like a such and such range, or it's infinite range. But yeah, the bonuses it gives, no. I feel like if they activate it so that all enemy heroes are affected, that would make more sense. Because Lurtz was hunting the Fellowship, all the Fellowship. They were all together, yes, but when they were even split apart, they were running fast, saying, "Find the halflings." They were all running full speed to try and hunt them down. So Why not just have the speed boost permanent everywhere? Reduce it a little bit, of course. But speed boost everywhere. Bonus damage for all your units would be fine. Again, reduced. But not at level 10. Not at level 10. I don't know. There are a few things I want to see change with Lurtz. I've been saying it for years now, actually. I remember the video I said where Lurtz actually got nerfed. Years and years ago. Where it felt like he just does no damage anymore. I think that's my biggest peeve with Lurtz. He doesn't feel like he does anything. Unless you're using his abilities, and even then it doesn't feel right. I've talked too much about this guy. I'm going to move him away so I'll stop talking about him. So we can get to the last hero. I'm finished. I've talked to about everyone. Yep. We come to Saruman the White. For me, is B tier. Just like Gandalf. But not for the same reasons as Gandalf. Also, is he going to hunt something? Or did I really send him that far away? Okay. Anyway, stop talking about Lurtz. We're talking about Saruman now. Saruman the White has Wizard Blast, same as Gandalf. But instead of having a lightning sword, he has Fireball. Which is easier to target on a single entity. Does massive damage. Can burn most things to death. Especially when you have Saruman of many colours. To give him just double damage on all his magic. His attack animation is also better than Gandalf's because it's a AoE knockback. May not do anywhere near as much damage, but it makes sense he doesn't do a lot of damage. He's mainly just flinging things around with his magic powers. His real attack damage comes from when he has the One Ring, but we're not talking about the One Ring. Two abilities in Saruman's kit, however, feel a little bit out of place. One, the Power of Speech. To grant experience to all target units in an area. This he has had since BFME 1. And back then it made sense because you didn't have, say for example, well, the most obvious thing is the Uruk-hai Captain research upgrade, which can turn any Uruk-hai unit instantly to level 10. But let's take for example this Uruk-hai unit here. Currently level 2. And we're going to be making them a higher level. I don't know why the tower keeps doing this, but it annoys me. But yeah, that's all it gives. That is all that power gives.
A new order will rise.
You'd think it'd at least give a lot of levels, but no. Sadly, no. I guess that's why it's at level 3, but still, this could be changed to be the version of what it is when you sit in the tower, which I'm going to talk about in a bit. He is actually good in the wizard tower. It's just annoying that you have to keep him in there and then he only acts as a defense. But then there's also Cunning Wizards again, which he's had since BFME 1. In fact, his entire kit is the same as it has been since BFME 1. His Ring Fit Hero forms are a million times better than his current form. But that's not to bash too much on his what he can do. Target enemies in a radius, which can miss, by the way. Enemy units can just run away from wherever you're currently pointing this at, which sucks because of how small it is. Or if an enemy unit isn't fully in this aura, only has like one entity in it, it can just whiff. It doesn't work, which again is really unfortunate. But again, this has been nerfed for reasons because you take too much, it's ridiculous. But then there's also Thunderbolt, which level 10 ability. Compare that to Word of Power, it doesn't feel the same. It does not feel the same. But then we come to being in the Wizard's Tower, and this is where things change. This is why he is, for me, B tier, because of what he can do in the tower. His Wizard Blast now just is a small AoE in an area. Fireball has to actually target something still. The Cunning Words now makes so all enemy units just attack their allies. They're not just being mind controlled to be under your control. They're actually fighting amongst each other. The Power of Speech actually becomes useful by increasing the production of target recruitment building to instant recruitment. So that's when this Power of Speech actually becomes useful. Why this isn't just permanently how it should be. I don't know. And then finally, Thunderbolt becomes a large AoE ability. Remember the Orthanc Wizard Tower for BFME 2 and Rise of the Witch King Vanilla? It's that ability. That is what his Thunderbolt ability should be. Again, just base. Some of his abilities in the Wizard Tower are so much better than his base abilities on the ground, which is so sad because I like to have him in the field, in the fight. But to be fair, he is also very weak. He is very squishy, just like Gandalf. So if you lose him, and I've lost him a few times, it fucking sucks. I'm not afraid to swear when I say this. It fucking sucks when you lose him. Because he is such an important thing to your faction. But yeah, instant recruitment for a recruitment building. That is ridiculously good. And I actually didn't realise it was instant recruitment. I thought it was just faster recruitment. No, instant recruitment. Amazing. And then the cunning words actually is a little bit better. Because it's not forcing those enemies to be under your control for a bit. It's actually forcing them to fight each other, like the Descent ability of, again, the Mouth of Sauron. And then Thunderbolt actually is a good ability. But yeah, it's the problem that you're actually incentivized to put him in the tower that I don't like, because his abilities on the ground don't feel right. Yeah, we'll just finish this off now with him using Thunderbolt on the ground, just to have a little bit of gravitas at the end. Come on, let me do it, Saruman. Come on.
We shall rule this Middle Earth.
Or am I just going to get blue-balled? Can I use the ability? Nope. Well, that's the end of today's video. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you all learnt something. Yeah, Isengard's heroes do have a few kinks that I want to try and I want to try and fix. That I hope the Edain team will fix to just make them feel more well-rounded. Because honestly, like with the dwarves, the Isengard heroes do get so easily overshadowed by their faction just being amazing when you put them in the right circumstances and give them just that extra push in the right direction. Rain. See ya.